The murder case of Sandra Renee Cantu.
Sandra Renee Cantu was 8 years old girl born on March 8, 2001. She lived at Orchard Estates Mobile Home Park in Tracy, California, with her mother, grandparents, and 3 older siblings. She was a second-grade student at Melville S. Jacobson Elementary School. Sandra got home after school. She makes her usual afternoon rounds knocking on doors looking for playmates. Hours passed. And Sandra doesn't come home for dinner. Her mother worries. She begins calling her daughter's friends, but no one has seen Sandra for hours. She went outside to look for her daughter, but still she can't find her. 7:30 p.m. Maria called the Tracy Police Department to report her missing child.
Tracy, please.
Well, I have a missing daughter.
Okay, how old is she?
She's 8.
When's the last time you saw her?
Oh, it was about 3. She told me she was going over to this one girl to play, and she hasn't been home. And I went looking all over.
When the police came over, they asked for a description of Sandra, and what she was wearing that day. Maria told them she was wearing a pink Hello Kitty shirt and black leggings. The Cantus did have surveillance cameras at the front of their house that Sandra's grandpa had installed. In the video, Sandra can be seen skipping away from her home at 4 p.m. As dawn breaks, volunteers canvass the neighborhood, desperately searching for Sandra. With no known suspect or vehicle's description, Tracy police are stopped. Sandra was allowed to roam free, and everyone opened their doors to Sandra with a big smile. The Federal Bureau of Investigation, FBI, was called in to assist on the case. Over the course of the weekend of March 28th to 29th, police dogs, equestrian teams, all-terrain vehicles, and a helicopter from the California Highway Patrol were brought in to search for Cantu. A $2,000 reward soon went up to $30,000, and Sandra's case was all over the media. The police received some information about several sketchy characters that either lived in the mobile park or were around the area on March 27. The first suspect was Sandra's dad, Daniel. He and Maria were separated at the time. The next suspect was a man who lived near the Cantus, who people believed was a pedophile. An ice cream man that the neighbors didn't recognize was in the neighborhood on the 27th, and was seen talking to several children. The police became very attached to this case, and they were disappointed that every lead was a dead end. A candlelight vigil was held for Sandra, but it was ruined by a distraught woman. The woman ran up to the police who were at the vigil, and told them that she found something. This something was a letter, and it was found by a neighbor of the Cantus named Melissa Huckaby, a 28-year-old Sunday school teacher. Cantu locked in stolen suitcase. Thrown in water on Bichetti Road and Whitehall Road. Witness. After 2 days of searching, there is no trace of Sandra Cantu. The letter was sent in for testing, but police were suspicious right away. The handwriting stood out to them, and there were a lot of misspelled words. The police still wanted to check it out, and a dive team was sent to search the area. The bodies of water that were searched were mostly sewage dumps, and nothing was found. Investigators have no idea whether Sandra's body is in the pond. They have a lot of questions and turn to the note messages for help. 28-year-old Melissa Huckaby is the same neighbor who reported her suitcase stolen from her driveway the day Sandra went missing. Huckaby also the person who sent a text to Sandra's mother that said, "Tell the police that I had something stolen today around 4 p.m. I don't know if that makes a difference or not." A 28-year-old Sunday school teacher who also lived in the Orchard Estates Mobile Home Park with her grandparent and her daughter. She's a friend of Sandra. The agent are suspicious about Melissa's involvement. But Melissa has a partial alibi. She gave the agent a proof that she placed a call to trailer park manager around the time Sandra went missing. Even so, agents searched Melissa's car. They found soft sticking note. They investigate the note and they discovered something. Her handwriting with 3 words.
Bichetti, Whitehall, and water.
Same as the one written on the note Melissa supposedly found. Is she the author of the ominous message? In Melissa's messy bedroom, agents find a notebook hidden below the nightstand. It is the same type of paper as the note, and a page is missing.
It also contained on it some indenters found on the anonymous note.
Investigators are now certain that Melissa wrote the mysterious note. But why? By now, it's been a week since Sandra disappeared, and her once idyllic neighborhood has turned into a land of horror. They start with the man who had kissed Sandra at the local pool. He passes. His alibi also pans out. He is not charged. The suspicious neighbor also passes a polygraph test, but has no solid alibi for the block of time. The stepfather and stepson, who were found with questionable photos of children, are also given polygraphs. But as authorities begin to move on their leads, they make a tragic discovery. The suitcase surfaces. 8-year-old Sandra Cantu vanished from her trailer park in Tracy, California. 2.5 miles away, workers at a dairy see a suitcase floating in the water. They call the sheriff, who rushes to the scene with Tracy PD and the FBI.
Is she in there? We wanted to know, but at the same time, we didn't want to open at the scene, obviously, because we want to protect the integrity of...
The suitcase does not have any identifying marks, but the zippers are tied together with a thin white string. Standing knee-deep in sewage, the evidence team lifts the suitcase and places it in a body bag. Investigators deliver the bag to the San Joaquin County Medical Examiner. He carefully cuts the white cord on the zipper and opens the case. Inside is a young girl, curled into the fetal position. Dental records and her clothing confirm what investigators don't want to hear. It is Sandra Cantu. Sandra's body is fully clothed, in the same outfit she was wearing when she disappeared. Toxicology reports reveal she was drugged with benzodiazepine, a powerful sedative. There are no obvious injuries on Sandra's body. No scratches, bruises, or cuts, except a small scrape on the inside of her bottom lip. Sandra's killer completely redressed her body.
It hurt, you know. Why? Why take the life of a young girl?
It's news Sandra's family is not prepared to hear.
When they came to tell us that they found Sandra,
Melissa Huckaby is now their prime suspect.
Now that we found the body described in the note and the type of suitcase matched the suitcase that had been supposedly stolen from Melissa's trailer on that day.
Investigators want to polygraph Melissa, but they can't. Melissa is in the hospital after attempting suicide by swallowing razor blades. Agents don't know what to make of her erratic behavior, but they do know that something is up. They question her family and learn that Melissa has a dark side. 3 months earlier, she pled no contest to petty theft charges for stealing from a department store. 2 years before that, in her prior home in La Palma, California, there were 2 mysterious arson fires. Though Melissa was a person of interest, charges had not been filed. Melissa was mentally unstable and medicating herself for relief.
She was bipolar, depressive, had high anxiety. She was dependent on drugs to deal with her emotional situations, frequently overdosed on those drugs.
Only 3 months before Sandra vanished, a parent in the trailer park accused Huckaby of taking her child to a local park without permission. When Melissa brought her home,
Hey, sweetie, I have some special juice for you.
the girl acted strange.
Drink it up.
Her speech was slurred.
Don't worry about this.
She was unable to control her muscles, kept falling down, and was drowsy.
The girl's mother and her boyfriend rushed the child to the hospital. Tests revealed benzodiazepine in her bloodstream. Melissa denied harming the girl, and charges were not filed at that time.
Basically, they saw her, it described her to a T, it described her vehicle to a T.
The timeline fits, but it's only circumstantial evidence. And investigators need irrefutable physical evidence. They get a warrant to search Melissa's grandfather's church.
We conducted a search of the church looking for any cordage that would match the description of the cordage we found by Melissa that had been cut and retied.
Investigators are also looking for the object Melissa allegedly used to sexually assault Sandra.
We covered the church head and toe.
In the kitchen, they find a bent rolling pin.
The rolling pin had one side, her prints on it, and collected that smudge.
Now, agents have to wait for the crime lab to do its work. They want the case to be rock solid before they make an arrest. They won't have that luxury. 5 days after entering the hospital, Melissa Huckaby is released. Her daughter and grandparents have left town, and her house is empty. Police wiretap Melissa's phone. The next day, they hear a phone call that stops them in their tracks.
She asked for Sandra's sister to come down and play with her daughter.
Hey, Maria. Yeah, I was wondering if your daughter could come over and play with mine.
Clearly, the concern for the Tracy Police Department and the FBI was that Melissa Huckaby, just like she had killed Sandra.
You can look at this as like a game of cat and mouse. We let her believe that she was one in the early rounds, but we knew the ultimate goal for us was to, one, get a confession out of her, but two, to get her to understand that we knew and we had evidence to show that she was solely responsible for Sandra's death and assault. And it had the 3 words on it that were scribbled out, Pachetti Whitehall Water.
Melissa denies everything. After 5 hours, Detective Bauer confronts Melissa with the evidence that cracks her lies wide open.
Between 5:30 and 5:40, 2 people saw your car stopped on Whitehall Road. They saw you come from out of the bushes on Whitehall Road, and someone asked you what?
When I was okay, and I said I was going to the bathroom.
What were you doing, Melissa?
It was an accident.
I told you it was an accident. I know it was. Accidents happen.
Kill her.
A misguided game of hide and seek with Melissa's daughter. Melissa says she became distracted and forgot about Sandra in the suitcase. She drove to her Sunday school room at the church and began working.
I went in the church. I was there. And when I came outside, I looked at my suitcase. I went to take it out and it was heavy. And she was in there. And she wasn't breathing or anything.
What did she look like?
She looked pale. And I killed her.
Huh?
I thought that she was dead. And I panicked.
So what happened?
I tried to wake her up and she wouldn't wake up.
Melissa claims she tried CPR, but it didn't work. She zipped the girl back into the suitcase and decided to hide the body in the pond.
Dead, and I killed her. I didn't want anybody to think that I had killed her. And I didn't know what else to do.
Melissa denies sexually assaulting the little girl, but her partial confession is enough for Tracy PD to arrest her for the murder of Sandra Cantu. Investigators tell Sandra's family the stunning news. From the blinds in the church are compared to the string on the suitcase.
The laboratory came back with a report indicating that that cordage was the same size, color, dimension.
Analysis of Melissa's home computer suggests that Sandra Cantu's murder was coldly premeditated.
We found an article detailing the murder of a child, and that child had been murdered by her grandfather and placed in a suitcase, and the suitcase had been thrown in a river.
The forensic evidence is the final piece of the puzzle. Authorities use it to construct a timeline of what happened to Sandra, beginning with the surveillance tape. At 4 p.m., Sandra walked off screen in the direction of Melissa's home.
Sandra, come on over here with me. Come here.
You want to help me decorate the church?
Sure. Okay, come on, let's get in.
8 minutes later, Melissa's car drove by. After driving Sandra to the church, Melissa gave her a drink laced with benzodiazepine.
Almost got it ready. Go ahead, drink it all out.
When the girl was unconscious, Melissa made her move. Around 5 p.m., phone records show that Melissa made a call from her grandfather's church to the trailer park manager, reporting her suitcase stolen.
She started thinking of needing to cover her tracks by making sure she reports the suitcase that has Sandra's body was stolen. So if the suitcase is found, she could claim, well, someone stole it and someone else must have put the body in it.
Then, shortly before 6 p.m., the eyewitness saw Melissa near the pond.
Hey, how you doing? What you doing now?
Sandra Cantu was dead before her mother ever called 911. May 10th, 2010. Faced with overwhelming evidence, Melissa Huckaby takes a plea deal and admits guilt in the kidnapping and murder of Sandra Cantu. All other charges are dropped, including charges of drugging and rape.
And I think that's a testament to the strength of the case on the trial.
Melissa is now serving life in prison without parole. When asked why she killed Sandra, Huckaby has no answer. Female child killers are rare, with less than 10% of murders attributed to women.
That theory that this was just a cry for attention.
Sandra Cantu may have walked off camera, but she will never walk out of the hearts of those who caught her killer.
The team is still gonna hurt over the death of Sandra. You know, you take somebody in the community that you think is who's the next Melissa Huckaby.